Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Monday evening, January 27, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the dash be like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. So as usual, we're going to be going out to the next 7 days as we look at what the latest Euro and the latest GFS supercomputer models have in store for us. So keep your eyes focused right here on the timestamp at the top as we go out to the next 168 hours. That stands for the next 7 days. We're going to be focusing our attention on Jamaica, which is right here. And we're going to be looking for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So we can see that as we head into Tuesday, we definitely have some moisture to the southeast of Jamaica by Tuesday morning. And then by around Tuesday afternoon, we see some moisture on land across maybe sections of some central and western parishes. Wednesday morning, we see some moisture across northeastern Jamaica and the waters to the south of us. Then Wednesday afternoon, we see moisture on land again, maybe some daytime heating. Rainfall once more. Thursday, we see the moisture across northeastern Jamaica once again. Then during the afternoon, definitely stretching across central and western parishes. Friday, northeastern Jamaica once more with some rainfall. Then Friday afternoon, it's more so across northern and western parishes for that diurnal rainfall. Saturday, don't seem like we're going to be getting in on much at all. Maybe some isolated showers on the south coast during the afternoon. Sunday, we see some dots of greens in and around the island. Then by afternoon, widespread afternoon rainfall across maybe eastern, central, and western parishes. And we're going to be stopping it right here on Monday. So this is valid for Monday, February 3, 2025. And we can see that not much is taking place across Jamaica by that time. We see some moisture to the south of Hispaniola, to the southeast of the Dominican Republic right here, to the west of the Windward Islands. Let us see what the latest GFS is showing for the same time period. So heading into Tuesday, we see that afternoon rainfall across sections of some central and western parishes. Wednesday, northeastern parishes with the rainfall. And even on Thursday, we still see that northeastern parishes are getting in on that rainfall, spilling into sections of some southern parishes during the afternoon. Friday, still plaguing northeastern Jamaica, spilling into sections of northwestern Jamaica by the afternoon. Saturday, not much of anything, but we do see some isolated showers across the east. Sunday, we see moisture to the north, we see moisture to the south. Then by Sunday afternoon, 0Z on Monday is actually 7 p.m. on Sunday. So around Sunday evening, we see the moisture across sections of central and western Jamaica. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, right here is where we're stopping it at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Monday, February 3, 2025 as well. And we can see some moisture across northern Jamaica. Not really in consensus with what the Euro was showing. Well, we did see some dots of greens to the north of us. So maybe it is in agreement with what the GFS is showing here. We can also see the moisture to the south of Hispaniola trailing all the way down into the Windward Islands. And we can even see some moisture plaguing portions of Central America. Let us match what we just saw in the 7-day forecast for the 1 hour totals with the accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days. So this map from the Euro And this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall expected from now up until February 3. And we can see that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be where we have the reds into the burgundies, into the purples, into the pinks, into the peaches. That represents 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in the reds to burgundies, 3 to 5 inches of rainfall in the purples to the pinks, and 6 to 8 inches of rainfall in the peach colors. And we can clearly see that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be plaguing eastern Cuba, eastern Hispaniola, including Dominican Republic, eastern Puerto Rico, anywhere from Guadeloupe southward, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, eastern Venezuela, southern Venezuela, western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, eastern Nicaragua, eastern Honduras, northern Honduras, Belize, into portions of Guatemala right here. And we also see the moisture stretching as far as Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana. And if we take a look at the latest Euro model, so we just look at the latest GFS, the latest Euro model is showing something similar. We also see some reserve represents up to 1 inch of rainfall right there across, if not northeastern Jamaica, the waters to the east of us for sure. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, in terms of the close-up of the accumulated precipitation forecast, we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are adamant that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be plaguing northeastern parishes, as we see those dark blues into greens into yellows. Especially the yellows that represents all the way up to 50 millimeters of rainfall across Portland, some of which could spill into sections of St. Thomas. The GFS a bit more reserved, showing up into the yellows as well, but going as far as at least 43 millimeters of rainfall. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and whatever takes place, I'll keep you posted on our other social media platform. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have a ridge of high pressure right here that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can also see the orange broken lines right here associated with a trough, and to the north of that trough we have a frontal system. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of the entities that we just saw. The frontal system right here to the north of the trough right here to the south, stretching into portion of the Bahamas and Cuba. And we can definitely make out the low level and mid-level flow of the clouds, some of which definitely contain some amount of isolated shores pushing from the main development region through the Caribbean. You can see some moisture right here to the south of Hispaniola, south of Jamaica, some moisture passing through the eastern Caribbean islands as well. We can also see a lot of moisture right here associated with the intertropical convergence zone, pushing from east to west into portion of northeastern South America. So Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana definitely getting nailed as we speak. We know the intertropical convergence zone is where the air from the northern hemisphere meets the air from the southern hemisphere, and we have a lot of rising air showers and thunderstorms taking place, so that area is naturally moist. You can even see some activity right here to the west of Colombia associated with the intertropical convergence zone. Excuse me. Alright, so we'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Monday, January 27, 2025. It was stated in yesterday's video that parts of northern and eastern parishes would have received some morning rainfall on Monday, also affecting sections of some southern parishes during the afternoon. Either way, we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Northern parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While southern parishes, you know, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. Excuse me. Alright, so what ended up happening? As early as 3:45 a.m., the visible satellite, well, the infrared satellite imagery was posted not only here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876, and on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we may post throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So first of all, we definitely saw some clouds pushing through from east to west across sections of eastern Jamaica for sure. We definitely got some sprinkles in my parish in St. Thomas this morning, and we can even see some convection blowing up with these cold cloud tops. Look at the blues into the greens. Some thunderstorm clouds, but we didn't see much in the way of sparkling white dots that represent lightning strikes or lightning flashes at all. And although no post was made for the rest of the day, we definitely had some clouds bring some overcast skies and isolated showers to sections of some northern parishes, and some of the activity spilled into sections of some southern parishes as well. We definitely got some isolated showers for sure. Wish we had those images to show. Taking a look here at the visible satellite images before the day was done, before we lost that sunlight, we can definitely see some clouds mainly across western Jamaica, but nothing too significant during the afternoon. Just like yesterday's video, most of the activity was confined to the morning. And the infrared close-up satellite imagery confirms this. We're only seeing just some milky whitish colors that represent cloud cover across section of St. Elizabeth, maybe some lingering isolated showers, but that's basically it. Taking a look on the flat bridge camera, although it was cloudy across this portion of the rear Cobra St. Catherine, boy, something drastic took place when a vehicle fell off the flat bridge. It was being towed, and then luckily we had some bystanders, some eyewitnesses, as well as the drivers from the truck that was towing the vehicle, trying to render some assistance. We are indeed grateful that they actually got the passengers out in time. So that was the first one, and then they took out the other passenger. So boy, these things can happen, but we're indeed grateful that there was no loss of life at all. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. We know how famous Flatbridge is for similar incidents. Boy, we just hope that something can be done before the year is done about this bridge in general, because I don't know, it seems cursed. Every other week there is something, and these are just the reported ones. What if we didn't even have the camera around here? And I'm being told that there are many other instances like this in the past. Boy, we just have to be safe as much as we possibly can. Taking a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website. This map does indeed paint a picture of how we had the rainfall today. Well, it's not really like this, to be honest. Could be less. Definitely across northern and eastern parishes during the morning. Maybe spilling into section of some southern parishes during the afternoon, but nothing widespread like what is being shown here. And we definitely have some comments here from some of our followers. First, here on our Blue Sky page, we had Rocky Rocks stating rained in the northern parts too. This was posted at around 7:49 a.m. Thanks for confirming what was seen. And we also have Lawrence Davidson 6195 stating it's nice and sunny in Montego Bay, Jamaica this morning. The tourists and solar power people love it. Thank you for confirming what the weather was like in St. James. Alright, so if we take a look at what's happening right now, according to the latest still image from the Weather Nerds website showing 0135 UTC, which is actually 8:35 p.m. So this just came out, what, 5, 10, 15, 14 minutes ago, considering that it's 8:49 p.m. now. Don't see much happening across Jamaica right now, but we do see some dots of white that represent some cloud cover to the southwest, as well as to the southeast of the island. Let us see if there's anything in terms of rainfall on the Cuban Doppler radar imagery. The latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery is as of 7:50 p.m. So it's definitely outdated, considering that it's 1 hour behind since it's 8:49 p.m. now. But we do see some dots of green to represent some isolated showers to the southwest of St. Elizabeth. So I guess it's kind of in line with what we saw on the infrared earlier. If we take a look at what's happening on the Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery, we can make out some isolated rainfall to the west of Guantanamo, some isolated showers across the southwestern peninsula of Haiti. Not seeing much happening across Cuba, well, northeastern Portland right now. But if we take a look at the Cayman radar, not seeing much happening across southern Cuba, western Jamaica, but we do see some isolated showers to the southwest of Grand Cayman right there. Taking a look at what's happening right now on See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing the Barbican camera, we can see people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing significant in terms of bad weather taking place right now, or for the rest of the night to be exact. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Tuesday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Tuesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Tuesday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some slight orange colors that we can see from the key on the right that represents up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of January across Jamaica are around 86.5 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 30.2 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30.2 degrees Celsius all the way up to 32.2 degrees Celsius for Jamaica's temperature on Tuesday, and unfortunately we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online's Twitter page, and we definitely have to highlight these when we're going to be having outages throughout the day, because we know that when we have these outages it can definitely exacerbate the heat, making the heat even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way. Alright, so all of these are for Tuesday, January 28, 2025, and we're talking about Davis Road and Burke Road in St. Catherine from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're also referring to Enfield, Juno Pen Road, and May River Road in St. Mary from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Hazelwood or Bamboo in St. Anne from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Buchan Avenue or Buchan Avenue, if I'm not butchering that place's name, in St. Andrew from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Spring Grove in Manchester, 11 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Section of Temple Hall in St. Andrew, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And finally, we have Landilo, Phase 3 and 4 in Westmoreland from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot for you, we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others including children, elderly people with medical conditions and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated. Drink lots of water throughout the day. Put away those sugary drinks, drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. I know the dry air can do a number on the region because it definitely puts a cap on the bad weather, definitely making the air stable, definitely making it harder for it to rain. And we can see a lot of dry air extending from Africa across the main development region through the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. Clearly we see that the most dry air is right here off the coast of Africa, is represented by those reds and whites within those reds. But we do see some breaks in the dry air, some moist air. We have these blues across the eastern Pacific, to the south of Costa Rica and Panama, to the west of Colombia, to the east of Suriname and French Guyana right here, lots of moist air. And we also see some moisture across the waters to the west of the Windward Islands, as well as to the south of Hispaniola and to the northeast of Honduras. So wherever we have the moist air, that's where the chances are highest for some amount of moisture across the basin. And who knows, maybe some of this might spill into a portion of Jamaica tomorrow. Either way, in terms of the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Saturday, well, 2 p.m. on Tuesday, we can clearly see that North America, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, Northern South America, and Central America are going to be in the clear, because all of the light shades of browns that we see here associated with the Saharan dust should be across the main development region right there. And we're indeed glad that we're not seeing those dark shades of browns, because we know that when we see the dark shades of browns, that indicates that vigorous plume that we know can cause very hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're indeed grateful that all the Saharan dust is out to sea and it's not that vigorous. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, Both the Euro and the GFS models are adamant that the highest waves should be aware of those purples and those pinks to the far south of Jamaica and Haiti, to the north of Panama and Colombia, to the east of majority of the eastern Caribbean. That's where the highest waves should be, 2 to 3 meter wave heights, as we can see from the key on the bottom right, while the light shades of blue to the dark shades of blue should be plaguing much of the Gulf of Mexico into the western Caribbean. That's the 0.5 meter wave height to 1.5 meter wave height, and that's because of the winds that are going to be expected. We see some dull greens to slightly bright greens from the Gulf of Mexico into the western Caribbean that represents anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 knots, and we see more of those bright shades of greens to slight yellows across portions of the central Caribbean to the eastern Caribbean. And we can see that flow from the eastern Caribbean coming in from the east. When it gets to the southwestern Caribbean, curving more to the south, so more from east-northeasterly flow into Nicaragua right there. And we see the strongest winds right here to the north of Colombia, so it makes sense that the highest waves are over that area as well. And if we take a closer look at Jamaica regarding the winds, we can clearly see that the strongest winds, where the brighter greens are, should be to the south of the island, coming in more so from the east, curving kind of southward, more from the east-northeast. We see an east-northeast or northeasterly flow on the north coast as well, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 knots, I'm sure. Let's see right here. So 10 knots, 11 knots on the north coast to the south of us, 16 knots. And let's go back to the waves to the north of the island. That's about 0.8 of a meter wave height. On the south coast, 1.6 meter wave height expected. The upper level wind still coming in from the west, so something similar to what we saw this morning on the infrared. So whenever we have those high cold cloud ups, we can clearly see them being shared off to the east. So if we have some more cumulonimbus clouds or anything of that nature, the wind shear is going to be pushing that off towards the east. Taking a look at the rainfall forecast for tomorrow, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 3 p.m. on Tuesday, and we can clearly see that for Tuesday afternoon we have some rainfall in store. The Euro model definitely a bit more robust than the GFS for sure. Euro showing a lot of rainfall from the central to the western portion of the island, especially where we have those dark blues, maybe sections of St. Elizabeth, Manchester. You also see some rain bands to the east of the island. Interesting. The GFS not that impressed with the eastern portion of the island, but more so to the far southeast of us, as well as across sections of some central and western parishes, maybe St. Elizabeth and Manchester for sure, spilling into sections of southern Trelawney, southern St. James, sections of Westmoreland for sure. We'll see exactly what unfolds at that time. Whatever takes place at 3 p.m, I'll definitely keep you posted. And regarding the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps from now up until 10 p.m. on Tuesday, we can see some contrast for sure. The Euro showing definitely more rainfall than the GFS. GFS only showing rainfall across the southwestern portion of the island with those greens and yellows. The Euro more adamant with eastern and southern parishes. We'll see exactly what entails. Either way, I'll keep you posted, and we're indeed grateful that it's gonna rain somewhere, if it actually does. We're in the month of January, and in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 20 millimeters of rainfall. That's close to an inch of rainfall, which is around 25 millimeters of rainfall. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive up to 3 inches of rainfall for the month of January. That's about 75 millimeters of rainfall. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of January or for the entire year, you can visit www.weather-and-climate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice little graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some moisture pushing through the Caribbean as we speak, associated with numerous low to mid-level clouds, some surface troughs here and there, stretching from the eastern Caribbean, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola. Some moisture still plaguing portions of the Bahamas associated with a trough. Some moisture plaguing Honduras, Nicaragua, not Costa Rica, but Belize, Guatemala as we speak. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening over there right now. if it's going to be loading for me. Alright, let it reload. In the meantime, let's look at the Barbados radar. We do see some isolated sprinkles to the east of there pushing westward. Maybe section of Barbados might get in on some of the action later on tonight. So too maybe section of St. Lucia, Martinique as well. Maybe sections of Dominica later on. Scrolling down, let's see what's in store for Trinidad and Tobago. Not seeing much happening. We do see some rain bands to the northeast of there. Who knows, maybe some of that might spill into section of Tobago, maybe eventually Trinidad later on tonight. But let us look back at the Doppler radar imagery of the northeastern Caribbean. Alright, so let's see what's happening over there. Alright, so right now we do see some isolated shores right here across eastern Puerto Rico, right there. And if we load these images from earlier today at around 3:05 p.m, we can see a nice little rain band right here. Some moderate to heavy rainfall on the yellows and the reds to the northwest of Puerto Rico. Some rain bands coming into section of Guadeloupe as well, passing to the west of the Virgin Islands too. And if we take a look at the weather via Doppler radar images, we can definitely see some rain bands affecting northern Guatemala, section of Belize and the Yucatan Peninsula, Trinidad and section of Venezuela, and even portions of eastern sections of Hispaniola, maybe the Dominican Republic, but not seeing much of anything across the ABC Islands radar, northwestern Cuba radar, Florida or the Bahamas radar at all. But regarding where the rainfall is expected in the next 24 hours, both maps here from the year and the GFS are adamant that within the next 24 hours from now up until 10 p.m. on Tuesday, the most rainfall should be where we have these oranges into the red, and we're referring to Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, section of Colombia, Nicaragua, Honduras, section of Belize, and we see that both the year and the GFS modes are in consensus with that. We could also get some more rainfall across section of southern and eastern Venezuela, maybe some isolated shores across Trinidad and Tobago, northward, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, sections of eastern portions of maybe Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, section of Haiti, eastern Cuba. We'll see exactly what unfolds. And we see that both the year and the GFS modes are in consensus with that. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.